or my
Check, check.
computer. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Cicero North Syracuse High School. My name is Owen O'Keefe, and alongside me tonight is Robert Bateman and sophomore Johnny Lisi as we have the Section 4 Ithaca Red visiting CNS Lady North Stars coming in for the North Stars' third game of the season. Johnny, you spoke with both head coaches before the games. What did they have to say?
Yeah, when I spoke to North Star's head coach, Stephanie Prentice, she said the team is feeling pretty good. Obviously, she'd love the weather to be different. If you couldn't tell, it is a downpour here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium. She said since they're 1-1, they won their first loss back in the second half. They played flat in the first half, but they improved much differently in the second half. They won their last game, and they are looking to grow and move forward and do what we need to do to get a W tonight.
And Robert, what are your keys for tonight's games on both sides?
My keys for tonight's game are for Ithaca. They need to keep their scoring streak alive. In their first two games this season, they have scored 20 goals. If they do that tonight, I can almost give them a surefire win. And for CNS, they need to keep their momentum going. They started off the season with a loss and then came back with a strong win against Penfield. And the last time they played on this turf, they had a massive overtime win against Liverpool in the sectional playoffs. So if they can come out and defend their home field again, that's the perfect thing they need going into this next game against Beeville.
Now we will rise for the national anthem. We are back live here on the North Star Network, ready for this opening draw. Looking like we'll have Brooke Molchinoff in for the North Stars and Julia Blakesley, number 3, in for the Ithaca Little Red.
Yeah, Brooke Molchinoff already with 5 draw wins this season, and make sure you watch out for Fran Tortora. She's also grabbed 3 of these draws, so she'll definitely be a big play on this 3-woman play.
Yeah, North Star is coming in hot off a 12-11 second title victory last year against the Baldwinsville Bees, looking to prove something now back in their hometown of Syracuse, New York.
I'm very excited to see Riley Kosick play. She was unable to play last year, finally back on the field. Very excited to see her play.
And there's who else but Tortora to start the game off with the ball for the North Stars.
And Owen, you're completely right when you say who else. 52 goals, 42 assists last season. You can only expect nothing less than 50 and 50 from her this season.
Tortora coming around, finds Prentice inside. Can't control that one. Fight for it on the ground. Looks like the North Stars will come away with it. They will. There's Tortora with it on that backside. Come around, gets around one person. Gets inside, shoots, and she's off the... Couldn't see that one there.
Still waiting for confirmation if it was a goal. It looks like it was. Fran Tortora picking up her first goal of the game, coming out hot. Johnny Lisi, before the game today, he was able to talk to Fran Tortora. Johnny, what did she say to you?
So she said that she feels confident about this North Stars team and is excited to play any team that this team is put against. She also said that she thinks that she's confident, but yet they continue to grow and work on things. Great goal by Fran Tortora.
Second draw getting set to go up. Looks me Bolchnoff in there again.
And Owen, keep in mind, Ithaca, not a team that usually plays this AA competition. The last time they did was 2 years ago, and they had 2 games against Beeville, and they ended up losing both of them. So they definitely have their hands full coming off the reigning sectional champions here tonight.
Tortora going left side. Lower looks to be Pickard. Now Kosick. Finds Prentz on the backside. Gets Molchinoff inside. She spins away. Gets Kosick inside. She fires back to the net. That's Riley Kosick. First goal in her high school career at coming off that ACL injury.
And Riley Kosick coming out hot. We didn't know what to expect from her, and she shows why she's committed to Northern Ohio University right there with a nice cut inside, and she's able to put that one to the back of the net.
Robert, this is a rare occurrence. Talking about injuries. CNS may be the only team ever that I've ever seen with 2 players coming back off an ACL tear.
Yeah, and Gabby Cicerelli, who we haven't seen check in yet, but when she does, it'll be a great moment. The last time we saw her play was on this field, and she tore her ACL in the final minutes of the game. It was very sad to see. She's back here tonight on her home field. It's going to be great to see her get out there.
Speaking of Cicerelli, the boys team beat New Hartford earlier today 16-1. They improved to 2-0 on the season.
Also, speaking of ACL tears, Mason Cicerelli tore his ACL as well, so we're hoping he can get back during this season because
he was cleared today.
He was cleared today. That's what we like to see. He was a massive part of that boys team last season.
Tortora gets it away once again. Hand down on the backside of the goal.
And expect to see this a lot from Tortora tonight. She loves to work in the X and just cut around the crease, and I feel like every time she does, she ends up finding a way to finish or get an assist.
Ella Pauline gets to Shea Firth. Pauline going through Firth at the top. Molchinoff cuts through. First to go right side, ISO. Fires off the stick of the goalie. What a save there from Olivia Frazier. Now Ithaca looks to get their first offensive possession of the game.
And CNS really running a ride here, trying to win the ball back.
Pauline pressures her. She's still coming up. Get it to her. That's number 3, Blakesley.
And Ithaca really needs a goal here, Owen. It's their first attack of the day, and they've really struggled on the defensive end, finally getting a stop on that last play.
Get inside. Blocked by Nicole Mira for the North Stars. Her first save of the night. Here comes CNS the other way. get it up, looking for Molchanoff, a little too far by her, but it finds a stick of Tortora. Now she's going to go down that left sideline. Towards the goal, goes back around, comes around the side, shoots it, and she got it. Tortora, and that's her second goal of the night.
And Owen, that's exactly what Fran will do all night if they give it to her. You can't give her a one-on-one on that side of the 12. She will just find a way inside like she does right there. Dives past her defender. She's able to cut across the crease and finish it again.
Fran Tortora showing why she's going to Stony Brook next fall, Rob, and playing in the spring for the Wolves.
Yeah, Stony Brook, one of the best lacrosse teams in the nation as far as girls lacrosse goes. And Fran Tortora, we couldn't be more proud of her here at CNS for finding her way to Stony Brook, and it's very well deserved.
Yeah, the CNS roster, 8 or 9 girls heading to play Division I lacrosse when they go to college. One of them is a junior and already committed, Ava Samito, going to UConn.
Yeah, and what a commitment that is. Ava Samino stepping into a starting role on defense this year after Gia DeToma went off to college last year, and Ava Samino, one of the many lockdown defenders on this CNS team.
Molchanoff's pass a little too far past Tortora. Firth trying to get off the ground. She'll get it. Gets it over to Tortora. Now she goes back down the baseline again.
And Ithaca needs to make sure they have some type of help here. Fran gets by this defender. It's a surefire goal.
Someone is standing still here looking to find someone open. Finds a person inside. That's Brooke Molchanoff off the goalie stick. No good.
And a great save right there from Olivia Frazier. Her save percentage isn't the greatest coming into the season, but for what she has done, it's been quality, only giving up 1 goal in the 2 games. Unluckily, she's only faced 3 shots, but still, 2 saves, 1 goal.
Coming down the side here, looks to be number 14, Lucy Getson. She'll get inside. That's Shea Baker, the player we were told to watch out for the Little Red. She gets it in, fires a shot. That one's no good. Hits the deck. Out of bounds off the backside. This one should stay with the Little Red.
And Ithaca right here, Shea Baker, she has to find a way to convert this, but Nicole Mira standing tall in her net.
Baker fires and gets it around Mira for the Ithaca Little Reds' first goal of the game. Shea Baker getting her 9th goal on the season.
And that's a beautiful finish right there from Shea Baker, finding the top corner of that net. Really needed that goal if you're Ithaca. Now maybe they can get their offense going and get back into this game. 3-1 is your score with 20:24 left in the first half.
And Johnny, what did Kaylin Hoffe, the head coach of the Ithaca Little Red, have to say about them coming into this game?
The Ithaca coach said that she's feeling good about playing some Section 3 competition. Happy to be out of Section 4 and playing some really good competition. And she said to look out for the Ithaca Little Red strong midfield, guys.
Draws up, and Little Red come away with this one. Whistle's blown, will stay with Ithaca. They're coming the other way now. Gets it to Blakesley. Going inside, backs away. Now gets it over to Thornton. There's number 17, Eleni Switzer, hitting the deck. Switzer gets it over past Bobbled, and she'll lose it off the backside. No good.
And that's just unlucky. With the weather conditions today, the ball will roll like crazy on this wet turf. So any bobble, you're going to see travel at least 10 yards.
Here comes Molchanoff. Going back down now. That's Tortora to her left. Taking things backs out. Gives it over to Shea Firth. Now Tori Ayanati.
Oh, and I'd like to see CNS run multiple types of offense tonight and really find what works for them best, especially going up against Beeville, who they saw in that sectional final in that last game. And right there, Mackenzie Prentice able to cut inside and put another one away for CNS, making it 4-1 with 18:45 left on the clock. Just a beautiful finish. She's able to catch it on the side of the 12, get inside, and just like Fran does on the left, Mackenzie Prentice does on the right, and she's able to get a goal out of it.
Have some technical difficulties here. I apologize with our scoreboard. We're trying to fix those.
Now, guys, you said those wet conditions. It has been raining here at CNS all day, and it has not stopped. Maybe stopped for about a half an hour at about 5 o'clock, but it has stayed consistent all game, and it will stay consistent. It is widespread showers. It's going to stay rainy and wet for the rest of the game, guys.
Tortora's in a foot race, gets around one, gets picked up by another. She gets around, gets one inside. Girl heads the deck. She gets away with it. Whistle's blown here. It should stay with CNS, I'd assume.
You would be right, Owen, and it will be Brooke Molchernoff at the top of the 12 looking to put this one away.
Brooke Molchernoff, she's left alone. She's a dangerous and lethal scorer for the North Stars.
Excuse me, that would be the top of the 8.
As Brooke Molchernoff gets that like we said she would. Now CNS takes a 5-1 lead over the Little Red.
And CNS just surging away with this one. Now's the time where you'd expect to see them really start to experiment and figure out what works best for them.
Yeah, I think Ithaca's got experiment with something as they call a timeout here. We'll take one as well as the North Stars lead 5-1 with just under 18 minutes to go in this first half. That's a Section 4 visitor. And they're at the center for the draw. Looks like Molchinoff, and I'm assuming number 3, Julia Blakesley, for the Little Red. Looks like Shea Baker, maybe. Can't tell between the difference between a 3 and an 8 in his reign.
Yeah, and Johnny Lisi, our third member of the booth, you've heard him a couple of times here tonight. He was able to talk to Fran Tortora before the game, like we said. Johnny, what were you able to get out of that?
Well, when I spoke with Fran Tortora, she said about going from being the hunters to the hunted in the section. She said, I think personally a lot of people think that we shouldn't have won the championship last year. So in some sense, even though we won the whole thing, I still feel like we're underdogs. She said, I think as a captain, it's important to make sure that my team stays hungry and that they know that every team is coming for us. She said that this North Stars team thrives off the pressure, and this team will continue to grow.
Love to hear it, Johnny. And right now, Ithaca, after winning that draw, having the ball, but CNS playing some very tight defense. And there's Sam Klein with the steal as Brooke Molchanoff runs up the field.
Yeah, Brooks in heavy, heavy red territory now. I got to get it off to someone. And she gets it over to Tortora. Takes away, sits around right around between the R and the T and North Star. We've seen her do that quite often so far tonight. Gets it over to Molchanoff.
And we see Tortora working an X again. Expect to see her behind the net all game, like I've said before. It's where she works best, and frankly, she's the most dangerous player on the field.
Looking for Molchanoff on the roller. Gets by one. She shoots and finds the back of the net once again tonight for it to be her third goal out of the North Star 6.
Oh, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and that's exactly what Fran Tortora lives by. She works from that left side of the crease, and she's able to just cut inside every time and finish across the net. Now we see Sophia Neshi checking in for the first time tonight, taking off Riley Kosick, who was able to bag herself a goal earlier. And we have Drew Mediasic in here tonight as our statistician. He's taking live stats, giving me and Owen the stats we need that we can't take. So, Drew, do you want to just talk about some of the season stats that CNS has gathered this season?
Sure. We have Fran Tortora, who we've talked about a lot tonight. She's the lead not only scorer, but she has the most points on the CNS girls varsity team with 8 goals now and 7 assists, 3 of them coming from this game alone. That's 15 points total. But we also have Mackenzie Prentice with 5 goals and 1 assist, and Brooke Molchanoff, who has 5 goals and 2 assists on the season. Large amounts of scoring done by these core 3 girls on this varsity team, 2 of them who are sophomores.
And Robert, a good sign to see. At the beginning of the game, I didn't want to say it to you earlier, but Gabby Cincinnati walking off the field with our trainer, Katie Clark. Just saw her walk back on. Still got 15 minutes about left in this first half. Could see Gabby Cincinnati step on the field in the first half tonight for the North Stars. That's a huge offensive spark.
Yeah, we'd really love to see that. She has 1 goal on the season, and last season she had a handful. As Sam Klein cuts inside, she drives across the crease, and she's able to finish. Sam Klein picking up a goal. The LaSalle commit, you absolutely love to see that.
Now, Robert, we're playing lacrosse, so she's not Sammy Buckets in this term, but to us, she's still Sammy Buckets. She'll hear about that tomorrow morning.
Oh, she will, and for our fans of the North Star Network, you will quite often hear Sam called Sammy Buckets by Owen and myself, and she will for sure be mad at us tomorrow morning when she listens back to this.
As there's that young sophomore, Mackenzie Prentice, picked up another point in the season, diming up Sam Klein for a goal from the defenseman, way out of her area for Sam Klein.
Yeah, and Owen, I mentioned to you before the game when I was putting down my stars of the CNS team, Mackenzie Prentice was one that I was really on the fence about, but I felt like I had to because her early season stats are really showing the potential to be something great. And once again, you see it there, getting an assist, and she's really played a massive role offensively for the CNS team.
Yeah, not only that, but last year as a freshman, she started, and if she didn't start, she was playing a lot of hefty minutes for this North Stars team, and she did a great job filling in those minutes as a freshman on what was a pretty old team, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. And once again, CNS winning the draw right there. That would be Gabby Putman. Actually, Gabby Putnam new to this team, but she's going to play a big role this season as a freshman. Her sister, Kate Putman, one of the most athletic people at CNS, one of the nation's best runners. So that family definitely has athleticism in their genes.
Yeah, I definitely would put Gabby Putnam in the midfield. I'm pretty sure she went to Nationals with Kate for running, so definitely probably the most endurance family I've ever seen.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Guys, you're talking about Mackenzie Prentice. Last year as a freshman in the North Star Cinderella run, Prentice scored the game-winning goal in the sectional championship against Beeville last year. Definitely a rising star, and can't wait to see what she does her next 3 years at CNS.
Yeah, the North Stars did have a good run last year. They went 13-5, and toward the end of the season, they picked up 2 back-to-back losses to Beeville, which sort of stumped them, but it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, which CNS proved. They've knocked down Beeville, took them a sectional chip, and unfortunately they didn't have states that year because that team could have went to states.
Yeah, and like you said, Owen, they really had a tough sectionals run. They had to play that Liverpool team who was really a dark horse in the section and ended up bringing CNS to overtime, and Molly Molchanoff coming off a massive goal to put CNS through, and then they kept that momentum going, and they beat West Jenny at West Jenny by a 2-goal win. And then they play Beeville. It goes to overtime, and like Johnny said, Mackenzie Prentice able to score a goal and end up winning the section for CNS, the first time since head coach Prentice actually was a player. So massive victory for the CNS girls lacrosse program overall.
Yeah, and in that previous year, they don't like to talk about it, but I'm pretty sure that CNS team prior to them when they actually had a season was 2-18.
Yeah, you are not wrong there, Owen. So CNS really had to turn things around, and they did.
As there's Blakesley flying over the backside, or the top of the net, excuse me. And that's going to go with CNS possession as they're now coming in hot the other way. Send it back to Nicole Mira in goal. Now coming up is Ava Semino. There's McGrath. So this looks like Cicerelli. They don't see her on the sideline.
I believe you would be right, Owen.
Shea Firth unable to control that one. Here comes Little Red now.
Oh, and I'm slowly realizing we were totally wrong. That was Mira Lieberman, committed to Mercer. Really plays a solid role coming off the bench for CNS. As Shea Firth now has it.
Going to Tortora's spot here is Firth. Ionati fakes the screen, cuts back down. Now there's, can't tell, that is Putman. Jersey number's hard to see, Rob, with the rain.
Very hard to see. It definitely hurts the vision a bit, but we're doing the best we can as that one is fired wide. It's out the back of the end zone. It will stay CNS ball. Tortora to bring it in. She gets around the crease again. Scans. Finds Prentice on the inside, and Prentice is able to put that one away.
Mackenzie Prentice lighting up the scoreboard tonight. Her and Tortora combining for 5 goals.
Oh, and that's a 2, not a 1. That was Gabby Putnam getting her first varsity goal. Her second varsity goal, excuse me. Great to see. Once again, like we said, ladies and gentlemen, the rain really making it hard to see up here in the booth. But we are doing our best as Brooke Malchernoff steps in and Sam Klein comes off the field.
Guys, with the rain, it is coming down much harder than it has right now than earlier in the game. This looks like the heaviest it'll probably be throughout the game. Looking at the radar, hopefully it'll not rain as hard for the rest of the game, but this is as hard as you're going to see it's going to come down right now.
And Johnny, we mentioned before the game that you interviewed with Coach Stephanie Prentice. What was she telling you during that interview?
She was very excited about this game to play some new competition. And my favorite part of the interview was I asked her, I said, Coach Prentice, do you have any players you want us to watch out for? And she said, my whole team. We're a team and a unit. There's no one player that stands out. We are a balanced team, guys.
There's Putman fighting for it. Coming away with it looks to be Baker for the Little Red. Passes inside, loses the control of that one. They'll stay with it. Now that's Blakesley. Guard tight is Tom Ford. Looking to get away. Poked away by Mira Lieberman. It's going to go out of bounds. It should stay with the Little Red. Yep, they'll call the tip off Lieberman. Hate to be a Debbie Downer. One reason we might not see Gabby Cicerelli today, as there's a goal there from the Little Red. Couldn't tell who that was. Might have looked like Shea Baker. Like I was saying, last time we saw us playing Liverpool in the regular season, it was the same conditions. That far right side around the 30-yard line when Cicerelli went down. So maybe that's might be why you don't see her on the field tonight.
Yeah, and wet turf, always slippery. And after tearing your ACL twice, and she is still coming back, that's not something you want to risk, especially since Gabby Cicerelli, we hope she plays a large part in this team going later into the season. So I think it's a good call not to risk hurting her any more than she already has been in a game that you're already up 8-2.
Yeah, as inside you will have Malchnoff and Baker.
And speaking of Gabby Cicerelli, committed to High Point University, another one of the girls on this team that is going to a very strong college for women's lacrosse. And Ithaca with another draw win, really starting to capitalize on those draws.
Yeah, one thing I don't want to see is CNS them to get almost lazy and arrogant with this game. Seeing they have a 6-goal lead on over the Little Red, you can't lose control of that. That's when you lose the game.
Yeah, and Owen, we actually haven't said it yet, but we said it all last season. Lacrosse is one of the few sports where you can actually score and end up getting the ball back. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic because if a team gets hot and they start winning their draws and scoring goals, they can come back into the game just like that.
Inside, it looks to be Blakesley that fired for that goal for the Little Red. Now they got a little bit of momentum building. They're only down 8-3 now as they're winning a couple draws too, so they might get the ball back here again.
Yeah, and just like that, Ithaca is slowly crawling their way back into it. This is the best team they've definitely played all season, and they are definitely struggling at first, but they're coming back into this game, and they're trying to build up momentum like we see here. So CNS needs to find a way to cut that momentum and either win a draw or make a big stop on defense.
I mean, yeah, Rob, through the first 2 games, the combined score was 40-1 with Ithaca coming out on top. I don't care who you're playing. If you're putting up 20 goals per game, that's still impressive.
Yeah, like you said, very impressive, and a team that's scoring 20 a game and only gives up 0.5 goals a game, that's definitely impressive for the first 2 games of the season. And even in their class, they're definitely one of the best teams in Section 4. So coming over to Section 3 to play CNS, they definitely have their hands full, but you want to see them come out and have a very strong game. And, that way both teams can get better playing out-of-section opponents.
Molchanov losing another draw, but Tortora will come away with it for the North Stars. She's going to go find her little sweet spot, it looks like.
And that is a foot race I would not want to be in if I'm number 3, Julia Blakesley.
Get it to Putman. Now over to Molchanov. On the X. Looks to be Prentice. They get Tortora inside. She fires a little wide outside left. There's a race for it for the North Stars. They'll stay with CNS, recovered by Putman. Those some fast legs right there like we've already mentioned.
And Tori Ayanati, a name we haven't mentioned much, but she is also committed D1 to go to Winthrop. She plays on our girls' soccer team, absolutely dominant on the soccer field and on the lacrosse field, so definitely a player to watch for in the midfield.
Firth gets to the outside. Can't quite tell who that is. Might be Sam Klein. Does look to be Klein. Fight for it on the ground. Come away with it is Tortora.
I will correct you, Owen. That's number 5, Sophia Neshi, with the helmet on.
I know Sam wears the helmet. That's what I look for when I'm looking for her.
Yeah. There's a couple girls that wear the helmet. You love to see them protecting their heads. Concussion's always a big problem in sports.
As Firth gets over to Prentice, coming around that left side of the goalie's shoulder. Looking inside, gets to Tortora. She'll turn. Take a little reset here. Now she's going to go back inside. Tortora ball poked away. Whistle blown by the official. Now Tortora might get a shot from the 8 or 12 here.
Yeah, Tortora's going to look to take this one at the top of the 8, and this is a very dangerous position for CNS. All she has to do is really step inside and let one rip, and with the amount of power Fran draws on her shots, it's almost unstoppable.
Tortora getting ready to fire here. She lobs it up instead. Gets it there inside. A little wide. Couldn't quite see who that number was. Looks to be maybe Brooke Molchanov missing the goal there. CNS is going to stay with it. There's Mackenzie Prentice. Now over to Gabby Putman. Inside to Shea Firth. Gives it over to Tortora on the backside. Tortora looking for something to do with the ball here.
CNS trying to find a cutter out of that herd you see at the edge of the 12 there. See Molchanov cut. And then it's Tortora. It's past her, goes to Prentice.
Now back to Molchanov. Going inside, coming around. Molchanov's going to fire and gets it past the goalie's right shoulder for a North Stars goal. That makes it 9-3.
And Brooke Molchanov, one of the players that was on that 2-18 CNS team, but even as a freshman, she played a massive contributing role last season, and then she was on the team on that 2-18 run, also playing a massive role. So coming onto this varsity team, she has varsity experience, and she shows it there, just able to easily put that one away, making a big play for the North Stars to kill some of that Ithaca momentum that we saw earlier.
Yeah, the North Stars needed a goal there to shut down Ithaca's little run they had going. As
Good
now
defense.
We'll see if Ithaca can restart. And Johnny, what were you going to say there?
Good defense that time around by the Ithaca Little Red. Definitely stopped CNS's momentum, but good job by Malchinoff to get inside there and get a goal.
Yeah, Baker and Malchinoff inside the center circle for the draw here. They'll get it to Tortora off the ground. Now she's going to try to get by one. She can't. Flies it over to Malchinoff.
Looks like CNS looking to slow things down here and really set up their offense. So you see them really spread out, leaving a massive hole in between that Ithaca defense. Expect to see someone cut through that.
Now back to Malchinoff. Yeah, like you said, they're trying to find someone just to fly in full speed of legs and then just get a one-on-one goal looking to see here. This looks to be Kosa. Gets over to Malchinoff. Now they're coming a little more condensed. Over to Prentice. Prentice finds Malchinoff inside. Show fire. That's a little wide off the back. We'll save the North Stars as Tortora is there. About 7 minutes to go here in this first half. Tortora's pass inside. Looks to be almost like an alley-oop type play there, looking to go off the stick of Riley Kosick for the goal.
And what a pass by Fran Tortora, just flying it over the net. Riley Kosick with a heads-up play to just get it down. A nice bounce shot between Olivia Fraser's legs, and that's the 10th goal for CNS tonight as they start to run away with this one and try to put Ithaca to sleep before it even gets into halftime.
For what we have accounted for, Fran Tortora has scored or assisted on half of these goals, Rob.
Yeah, that is very impressive stuff. 3 goals, 2 assists is what we have her down for. There might even be more. Just very incredible stuff. As I said going into the game, expect to see Fran have 50 and 50 this season. And if I'm her, I might even be saying 75-75.
She did have a 50-40 season last year. It would be impressive to see a 50-50 or even a 60-50. But Section 3, the SCAC Metro for Section 3 might be one of the best lacrosse leagues in the entire nation.
Yeah, it's arguably the best league in New York, excluding those very strong Long Island teams, that we see every year end up winning states. So CNS really trying to make a run. This would be their year if they were to have a year. Like you've said earlier, Owen, 9 girls that are committed to D1 colleges, just an absolutely stacked roster, and you'd want to see them go on as far as a run as they can with a lot of these girls having their final year.
Prentice comes around looking for someone inside, and she'll get it. Looks to be number 27, Gabby Putman, with the goal for CNS there.
And Gabby Putnam getting her second of the night, I believe, just able to put that one away. She's really starting to find the back of the net here. And CNS right now, if you're them, you just want to keep your foot on the gas. You don't want to pump the brakes at all. You just want to run this score up as much as possible going into halftime. That way you give yourselves the opportunity to experiment and really prepare for Beeville.
Yeah, Beeville is that team that CNS has to keep on the radar, obviously. I think if they beat Beeville, they'll probably win the region.
I agree. That Beeville team and this CNS team are the 2 teams everyone has said are the championship expectation. And sadly, Owen, we will not be here to call that game. But luckily for us, Johnny Lisi and Drew Matiasic will be here on Tuesday calling that game for you live on the North Star Network. So make sure you tune in to hear and check that one out.
Yeah, like you guys said, next game is this Tuesday right here on the North Star Network. It is a matinee. It'll be at 1 p.m. on the North Star Network. Like you said, I will be on the call with Drew Matiasic. Excited to be on that one. That is a rematch of the sectional championships from last year. So it should be a good one here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium in just a few days.
Putman gets it over to Prentice, coming back to replace Putman's spot. Now to Firth. Looking for someone inside. Finds Tortora. Tries to lob it up way over the top of the goal. Looks like the Ithaca Little Red there. Shea Baker there on the backside, closest to it. It's now to go Little Red possession.
And Owen, if you're Ithaca right now, you're just trying to do everything you can to solve the puzzle that CNS is bringing for you, especially on these rides. Is CNS able to poke that one away, but the Little Red are able to stay with it. So they just need to find a way to get out of these rides like they do there and start to really solidify their offense. We haven't seen them attack much, but when they have, they've been solid, and they've been scoring goals like we've seen them do all season.
Lucy Getson going inside, whistle blown. Looks like she might get a shot from the 12, it looks like. From the 12, going inside, ball poked loose. Coming with it is Victoria Iannati.
Yeah, and Owen, right there, that's great defense from the UConn commit, Ava Semino, just being able to get her stick on that one before number 14, Lucy Getson is able to get the shot off. So brilliant defense right there from Ava Semino.
Yeah, Rob, a bit unfamiliar with this Section 4 athletes here.
Yeah, Owen, before the game, we really struggled to find anything on them. We were unable to find film. We searched multiple websites and were unable to even find stats. Luckily, Max Preps gave us the little stats we have for them, so we're doing our best, but we're definitely not working with as much as we prefer.
Molotov headed inside, loses control there, whistle blown, so she might get a chance from the 8 or 12 here for CNS.
You guys were talking about Ithaca. There's 3 main players that when I talked to the Ithaca coach and looking on Max Preps, you have number 3, junior Julia Blakesley, 7 goals, 1 assist on the season. She added 1 more this evening. Number 8, senior midfielder Shea Baker, 8 goals, 2 assists on the season. And finally, freshman, number 15, the midfielder Ella Thomford, 6 goals, 2 assists on the season. So the big 3 on Ithaca when I talked to the coach.
And Owen, when you did talk to Johnny, when you did talk to the Ithaca coach, what was she telling you before the game?
Well, she said she's feeling good about this game. She was very excited to be interviewed by us here at the North Star Network. She said she's mostly excited to play out of Section 4 and come into Section 3 and play some very solid competition. But she also said, like I said earlier, that strong midfield of the Little Red, watch out for them. They really haven't been strong early in this game, but you never know.
Yeah, that Section 4 teams we see quite often in other sports, as CNS girls basketball team had a heartbreaking loss in overtime, I'm pretty sure, to Elmira when they went over there earlier in the season. Football plays Corning and Horseheads a few times each year, or once a year, I should say. As Cicero North Syracuse as a whole in athletics is somewhat familiar with Section 4.
Oh, and you mentioned Horseheads. The Section 3 CNS football schedule has come out already. The North Stars will welcome Horseheads next September, so some Section 4 football will come here to Michael J. Bragman Stadium in just a few months.
As the shot there from Baker onto the back left side, past Mira's right ankle for his 4th goal of the night. That'll be Baker's 3rd. It's her and Blakesley doing all the scoring tonight here so far for the Little Red.
And you'll see CNS's defense just talk this one out a bit. That is the 3rd penalty that they've ended up resulting in a goal for Ithaca. So CNS needs to find a way to lock those down and just not let that easy shot off, even though it is hard. We saw the likes of Ava Semino get a poke away and end up stopping one of them. So just finding a solution and not letting such an easy shot get away, or even just not drawing the penalty to start with at all.
Rob, might be something with just lacrosse play-by-play guys, but Kyle last year could never tell jersey numbers. I feel like I'm in Kyle's position right now.
Yeah, and we always made fun of Kyle for his terrible eyesight, but right now I'm feeling a little bit of his world. And, you know, coming off of a basketball season where all the numbers are quite easy to see, this lacrosse team is definitely giving us some troubles here tonight.
Hey, we'll blame it on the rain.
Yeah, we will blame it on the rain until we struggle in the
sun.
in the sun and the perfect conditions.
As now Iannati gets it up to Molchanoff over to Tortora. Looking inside, lose control of that one. Looked to be, that was 22, Molchanoff there.
Oh, and in our defense, it is our first game in the booth this season for lacrosse, and we have an all-new setup, so we were working with that before the game. So we're doing our best, trying to adjust to some new setup, but we're doing our best for you, and we can always promise that. So make sure to keep tuning in. We really appreciate all the love and support we do get, and it's worked out in our favor, and we absolutely love to be able to support our fellow classmates and even the other Section 3 and 4 athletes that come here to Michael J. Bragman Stadium.
Yeah, Rob, full of blame today. We'll blame it on the rain, Blame it on Spencer for not showing us how to do the setup.
Hey, maybe even the lights. They're looking pretty bright.
As shot in there. Prentice, little tough, soft touch there after the assist from Tortora. Tortora filling the stat sheet alongside Prentice as well. Absolutely lighting it up tonight for CNS. Looks like boys lacrosse just got back from New Hartford after their dominating win. Come to support the girls team as they should.
And Owen, just like last season, both CNS lacrosse teams look very dangerous in their section. The boys team were almost an underdog in that sectionals run. They unfortunately lost to West Jenny in the game right after CNS had a big win at West Jenny. So this boys team, they're looking for a sectional win. This girls team is looking to go back-to-back with sectional wins. So definitely two teams that you should make sure to tune into this season.
Yeah, CNS boys lax last year. If I'm not mistaken, they split the season series with Jenny one apiece. They won on the road and they lost here on a heartbreaker. They lost by 1, which was an impressive game. As last year, CNS, they lost Nolan Firth and Anthony Smino, 2 huge pieces. We actually, their sisters, both juniors on this CNS team, playing now, looking to win the section. But CNS has a lot of roles to fill, and like I said, Mason Cicerelli's back, so the boys team is looking hot. It's them and Beeville, because Jenny dropped down, so did FM. So now it's, like they've said, it's them and Beeville competing for the sectional title with Liverpool maybe as a dark horse.
Yeah, and Liverpool a dark horse in really both sections, as we saw them last year really give CNS a game and bring them to overtime, arguably the closest game CNS had other than that Beeville sectional final. And so Beeville being a powerhouse in both, CNS being a powerhouse in both, Liverpool being a dark horse in both, we really have some nice stories building for this season of lacrosse.
Blakesley can't get it up to go. Looks like off the shoulder, or off the stick, of Nicole Mira. But it looks like it'll stay with the little red. We got about a minute left in this first half. Going inside, that looks to be Blakesley. Here comes Baker, firing towards the middle, can't get it to go. So there's a scramble forward on the ground.
And a great stop right there from Nicole Mira to keep that one out of the back of the net, as Shea Baker threw an absolute bullet into the ground there.
Still a fight for it. It looks to be Molly McGrath here for CNS. Heading up that right side sideline.
Oh, and I don't want to be that guy, but Molly McGrath, just an absolute monster out there going to Albany. Just a sneaky athlete, not someone you'd expect to be as good as she is, but she's just an absolutely dominant athlete out there on the lacrosse field.
As Putman gets over to Molchanov, CNS might take things slow because they got 30 seconds and possession left to end out this half. May want to take a shot here right towards the end. Maybe go up 9 heading into halftime. Tortora goes around, she fires, can't get it to go. Mackenzie Prentice is there, she's going to come up with it. They got 14 seconds. Now they're at 10. Give it over to Putman. Fly it over to Kosa. They got 6 seconds. Kosa's got to get one inside, and it gets it to Molchanov. She'll dive. Flies one way over. Has to go out of bounds off the backside. Prentice is there, but that clock zings out. At the end of your first half, the North Stars lead the visiting Little Red 12-4.
Yeah, and Owen, the biggest thing right now for CNS is they just need to keep scoring and really tighten up on the defense. We saw them really struggle in that first game against Victor in a 9-6 loss. They weren't really scoring. They were giving up easy goals. And then we saw them bounce back in that 13-7 win against Penfield. So right now, if you're CNS, you really want to lock up your defense and really get this machine going. You want to figure yourselves out and then keep scoring goals. And if you're Ithaca, you're just trying to get back into this game. We've seen them score 20 goals in both of their games this season. Right now, they only have 4. So we know the offense is there. We just aren't seeing it tonight. So hopefully they can figure things out coming into the second half. Johnny, what have you seen in this first half of lacrosse?
So far for the North Stars, I've seen that they had a solid first half on offense. Obviously, it's 12-4, so a solid first half on offense. They have only allowed 4 goals, but you need to tighten up that defense if you are the North Stars, like Rob said, to keep that lead. And you got to keep feeding Tortora and Prentice for the North Stars. They are their 2 obvious stars. If you keep feeding them, the North Stars could run up the scoreboard. And for Ithaca, they need to keep giving it to Baker because Baker and Blakesley have been doing all the work. They have scored all 4 goals for Ithaca.
I mean, Rob, we might want to say the defense, but listen to this. Out of all 5 of our defensemen, 4 of them are going to Division 1. One's going to Lemoyne, a very highly respected Division 2 school. So that could be a reason why Ithaca's struggling tonight. our defense might be one of the best defenses in all of New York State.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think they really have started to come together more. We saw them struggle in those first 2 games, like I've mentioned, but it's also the first 2 games. You're traveling to Rochester. It's a long journey, staying in a hotel, playing early in the morning. So, really figuring yourselves out, especially in those first 2 games of the season. It's pretty tough, and we saw it with our girls basketball team, one of the best teams in the state. They lost their first game to Bishop Ludden. So getting a team together in the beginning of the season is always hard. You can find early season losses like that, but now we're really seeing them come together, and I'm excited to see what they do against Baldwinsville.
Yeah, I think that's all we have so far on the first half of the North Star Network. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes for the second half. And we are back here live on the North Star Network for the second half of the Cicero North Syracuse North Stars and Ithaca Little Red visiting from Section 4. As in the first half, North Stars took a 12-4 lead, Tortora having 3 goals and 3 assists. And then Prentice, Kosick, and Putman adding in 2 goals apiece as well for CNS.
We see Ithaca win that first draw, and they're looking to really build off of that first half deficit, that they ended up finding themselves in. But a turnover right there is not how you want to start. Nicole Mira will start us off. She finds Sam Klein.
Gets it over to Gabby Pauline. Pauline bounced past to Molchanoff.
A lot of Gabbies on this CNS team. Gabby Cicerelli, Gabby Pauline, Gabby Putnam. Gets a little confusing after a while.
Last year there was a lot of Brooks. Not Brooks, there was just Molchanoff. That was a pain.
Yeah, there's just 2 Molchanoffs.
And then both goalies are named Nicole.
Yeah, makes that nice, though.
Yeah, so if a goalie gives up a goal, you can just say, oh, it's Nicole.
Yeah. Save you a nice look down at your notes. As Tori Iannotti now has it.
Looking inside, down that backside, gets it to, looks like to Tortora, excuse me. She spins, coming back towards the middle. Takes a few steps back. Now to Iannotti. Spins, goes back over to Molchanoff.
And I really like that CNS is just taking their time and looking for a good look, because last year we saw them rush their offense a lot in big games, and right there when we see them be methodical and look for the open pass, they're able to score goals.
As Prentice dimes up Molchanoff wide open in the center, make that 13-4 now, extend the lead to 9. As yes, CNS did no rush to score, so if you want to keep scoring, just keep taking things slow. You're going to use more time. They use about a minute and a half there.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but they can almost use this half as almost a practice and really get everything down, work on the basics and the fundamentals that they want to bring into that Beeville game, and that way they can come in with a strong foundation laid out, and they can build on that for the rest of the season.
Yeah, almost as if you want to give Cicerelli some reps. I don't want to put her 100%. You almost could do that in this game with the way it's taking right now.
Yeah, but with the rain still coming down hard, like we mentioned earlier, it'd be tough to even see any of these girls go out early. So you want to make sure you can keep players safe and have them for the rest of your season.
Guys, you said about the rain. The rain has not lightened up. When I spoke to North Stars head coach Stephanie Prentice earlier in the game, before the game, she said these conditions are not ideal, but we'll play in them to get a W. Now, guys, a stats recap of the first half. It has been a balanced attack for the North Stars. Tortora with 3. Prentice now with 3. Molchanoff has 3. And a balanced attack for the North Stars. Baker and Blakesley doing most of the work for the Little Red. The feel here, I got to say, momentum is definitely obviously on the North Stars side, judging by the scoreboard. But Ithaca, with that goal, gets some momentum back. You can definitely tell they're excited to get that goal, guys.
Couldn't quite grab the number there, but it didn't look like Blakesley or Baker's. We might have been seeing a new face here in the stat sheet. It was a new face to number 9, Reese Montivero Cole, her 4th goal of the season, 5th point.
Yeah, and a massive thanks to our PA announcer, Daryl White, who never seems to miss a call.
He's definitely got eyes somewhere. His eyes aren't that good.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a lot. A lot of credit goes to Pilata with those binoculars over there.
I'd say that's probably true.
We should get some binoculars.
We probably should.
Yeah, we definitely should. Make sure to tune into the North Star Network for when we get binoculars. Numbers will no longer be a problem.
Whistle blown on the draw there. It's going to go to the Little Reds' possession.
Well, guys, I don't want to get the audience too excited, but I think Drew Matiasik and I might be able to promise some binoculars for Tuesday afternoon's game on the North Star Network, guys. Improvements to the broadcast.
Yeah, the young guys don't need binoculars.
Yeah, you love to hear the sophomores stepping up and really flexing their young eyesight. Us 18-year-old seniors really struggling to see out here. It's all those whiteboards we look at all day.
Yeah, smartboard, Chromebook, all that nonsense. Definitely not our phones.
Now we see Allie Cole with it. Ooh, little slip there.
Like we said, that rain. That was Maya McGrath. She gets up to Sam Klein, the explorer. Now to Ella Pauline. Comes around that left side, gets to Tortora on that backside. Now she's coming around. Coming back towards the right shoulder. She'll find inside. Gets Prentice. She'll fake and she'll fire, and that's in.
The combination of Tortora at the X with Prentice on that right side of the crease might be one of the most dangerous combinations we will see in Section 3 this year. Because with Tortora being able to work so much on the back of that X and just working around the crease, since in girls lacrosse, players cannot cut through it. They have to run all the way around, meaning she tends to draw two defenders to her, and Mackenzie Prentice is just able to step right in front, and she's able to finish all day long. So really watch those two to be almost a dynamic duo on offense going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, last season we saw a lot of weak side help coming from Prentice, obviously, but also Molly Molchinoff and Angela Beardsley, who both are no longer on the CNS team. One graduated, one's at IMG Academy in Florida. So that was a lot of weak side help we saw giving Tortora, but now it's Mackenzie Prentice, so she's going to be that dynamic duo with Tortora, like you said.
Shea Baker with a really nice move there, just unable to connect that pass.
Ball going out of bounds. Molly McGrath's going to recover it, keep it in play. Now she's got two reds on her. Gets it to the goalie, Nicole Mira. Now over to Allie Cole. Looks like Mira Lieberman on that backside, who could be Ava Semino. Now McGrath to Sam Klein going up the sideline. She'll fakes, get by one. Now she's picking up some acceleration here.
Sam Klein, one of the fastest players you'll see on this lacrosse field. When she hits her top speed, she is, I don't want to use it as the irony, but she's an explorer. She will get around. It's like a little road runner out there.
Rob, I got to give you kudos for that. That was beautiful.
Thanks, Shawnee. I appreciate it.
Tortora inside, off the ground. Impressive shot there from Fran Tortora. That amazed me. I didn't know what that was. I just saw her flick it behind her. Goes right between the feet of goalie Olivia Frazier as Tortora is having herself a day.
It's almost like she went bowling there, Owen, just rolling that one into the back of the net. Fran Tortora just showing off even more of her excellence. Just how happy do you have to be if you're Stony Brook? You arguably have one of the best players, if not the best player in New York coming your way.
Yeah, I think this is the wrong sport and wrong season for nutmegging, but she did it there.
Yeah, and as a soccer player, I can always appreciate a good nutmeg, and right there, you just saw two for her to finish that goal.
Looks to be Putman in the center here for the draw for CNS. Ball flings towards Ithaca's goal. Scoop missed by Tortora. Now there's a fight for it on the inside. Looks to be Ithaca coming away, but there's still Putman attempting there. It's going to go to Ithaca after the whistle.
There will be a foul on that one, so Ithaca will have to back things up, but luckily they do get to keep the ball there.
As here's Blakesley, sends it back. Varma gets it over. CNS really coming up with the pressure here, as they'll call a foul there. It looks like it'll be on Mackenzie Prentice. They'll go back to Little Red. They find someone inside a ball a little too strong. Here comes Molly McGrath the other way for CNS. She's met by a sea of red here.
Molly McGrath, one of the captains on this team, and likely she deserves it completely. She's one of the most solid players. We almost never see her make a mistake, and she's always just a lockdown defender and someone this CNS team can really rely on defense.
Ella Pauline bringing it up here for CNS. She'll fake. Gets over to Mackenzie Prentice around the 10 on the field. Not a Tortora. Inside. That was Ayanati, excuse me, Tor. Same thing. Now here's Tori Ayanati. Over to Gabby Putman. Over to Mackenzie Prentice. She'll fake, head towards the goal and whistle blown, so CNS might get a shot here. Prentice gets over to Kosick, back to Prentice.
Oh, and we talked about it before the game. We were very curious to see how Riley Kosick plays because we've never seen her play for the CNS lacrosse team due to her ACL tear last year. And as she's played tonight, I think she's been really solid, and I can completely understand why she stepped in as a starter because she's played a great role and just really been almost that glue girl on offense.
Yeah, I had audience side there unable to finish. Like, yeah, look what we said. Last time Riley Kosick played high school lacrosse in a regular season game was her 9th grade year. Because 10th grade there was no lacrosse. Last year she didn't play. So she's really stepping up, starting high school, playing on varsity. Now she's coming in as a senior. She passes to Tortora. She'll fire, and she picks up an assist there to Fran Tortora.
Oh, and I have to say, with the rain pouring down on these lacrosse nets, it gives you almost a satisfying splash when the ball hits the back of the net. It's kind of nice because you can always tell when the ball goes in.
Especially when there's some power there. North Stars now lead 16-5, 16:20 left on the clock in this contest.
And we see a goalie change. Nicole Mira stepping off the field. Nicole O'Neill making her way on. Nicole Mira having a pretty solid day, only giving up 5 goals. Nicole O'Neill looking to keep it down to 0 if possible.
Guys, that ball movement on that last play by the North Stars was beautiful. Got it to Tortora, and she just took her shot. Could not be more perfect for the North Stars to put them up by 11 with 15:50 left in this game.
Ionati's going to get a breather here as well for the North Stars. You always like to see, we know Coach Prentice likes to keep things switching up. She always like to test out new things so she knows, because you never know what she might try that might actually work. So she always like to try new things, which she has experimental time to do here.
And Johnny, I just have to ask, you were supposed to be on the sideline tonight, but technology thought otherwise. And are you happy to be in the booth where you're nice and dry, or would you have liked to be on the sideline?
You know, I'm not complaining about being up here in the warm booth nice and dry. I mean, it's a nice vantage point from up here. I'm not complaining being up here. It's pretty nice to be up here with you guys.
Yeah, I would rather be in the booth than on the sideline right now. You and everyone else, unless you're trying to hide under that little CNS tent over there, right on the 50-yard line. As first pass is over to the left side. Looks to be Pauline. She'll get it to Molchanoff. Brooke Molchanoff spins. Takes it back out. Gets over to Prentice. Looking for Klein inside. Can't get it to her. There's a fight for it on the ground. Can't see who's getting it. Goes on the ground to the stick of Olivia Frazier.
We can definitely tell with the window open in our booth. A cold breeze is coming through, so the temperature is definitely getting a little colder than it was for opening draw of this game. We're currently at a solid 45 degrees here in Cicero, feeling like 41. So definitely some typical early April temperatures for central New York, obviously.
We got spoiled with the warm weather yesterday. It was a half day for us CNS too, so perfect weather for a half day.
Yeah, and it looks like CNS just had an extra player on the field there. So you see Shea Firth step off, and Ithaca will get the ball after that. And CNS quick to capitalize on it, though, as they have 3 defenders all over the Little Red right now.
Yeah, the CNS almost is composed of basically, we could say, all midfielders. People that can run up and down the field, people that can shoot the ball when they need to, and also people that can defend when they need to. This whole CNS scheme can almost play any position that they could, if they wanted to. Which is great when you want to get in either those early game or late game rides to bring up the pressure on the opposing team.
Yeah, and CNS a team that we really do see do well in the ride, always causing trouble or even a turnover when they run it. So not a team you see sit back and really rely on their defense. They like to bring it to you all the way down the field.
Give it over to Blakesley. Now Baker, she'll go inside. Makes a move, whistle blown.
And Owen Baker really, we haven't talked about her enough, I feel like. She is very, very strong offensively. She just lacks some of the help that she wished she had, like Tortora has on this CNS team. And she still does well to finish when she has her opportunities. But if you put her on this CNS team, she would easily be one of the better players out there.
Yeah, she would thrive in the way this North Stars offense is run and the support it has for everyone. As here's Blakesley. Now spinning. Out to Baker. She's going to go in. Fakes. Takes it back out.
Yeah, and Sam Klein, almost the perfect player to defend Baker there. Just the speed she has, able to capitalize on anything as Baker steps inside with a beautiful shot. She's able to put that one away, giving Ithaca their 6th on the night.
As, yeah, Klein there went for the double team, tried to force a turnover. Instead, Baker found herself wide open, went inside, and just shot one right to the right shoulder of Nicole O'Neill.
Now we see 3 faces step onto the field. Sophia Nesci has come on earlier, but she has taken a little time off. We see number 8, Courtney Jakowski, and number 24, Marissa Doty, step onto the field for the first time tonight.
Guys, a cool little stat nugget. This is one of the longest droughts without a score by either team. 4 minutes, just about 4 minutes. I know, surprising. 4 minutes without a goal by either team. We had that in the first half, but this has been a high-scoring game and fast-paced, guys. Longest time that we've gone without a score.
Yeah, Rob, Courtney Jaworski, a girl whose name we heard a lot when we'd be here early for a girls' game when the JV team was playing last year. A great player on JV, looking to see what she can do, stepping into a different role here on varsity now. Definitely some talent I'm sure Prentice wants to develop for the future.
Yeah, likewise with Marissa Doty. I felt like that's a name that I almost remembered reading off my sheet there because I just remember Mr. McGrath always going, goal number 24, Marissa Doty. So she's definitely stepping up into a big role on varsity this year too. Getting onto the field in the games like this is where you can really earn yourself more minutes. So you'd love to see these 3 players succeed here.
As here's Vesey going inside. Lose control of that ball. Whistle's blown. So now Vesey might get a shot from the 8.
Yeah, and that's unlucky on Allie Cole. I thought that was a nice poke there, but she was called for it.
You guys are talking about Allie Cole. Allie Cole, a star on the CNS field hockey team as well.
Yeah, I'm saying Allie Cole and Chrissy Wagner are almost the 2 best players for CNS this year in field hockey from the short amount of games we saw.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, Allie Cole committed to Lemoyne. I am unaware if she's playing field hockey there or not, but we will make sure to ask her when we see her during school. Ithaca looking to keep the ball now. They're really doing well on offense, getting some shots off, unable to convert on most of them, but at least they're keeping the ball and having more possession than we saw earlier.
Yeah, I definitely would say in this second half, Ithaca has more possession time than they did in the first half.
Yeah, and that's a stat we should actually look into trying to track. I don't know how we do it, but I
2
think
phones.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to go basic, we could. But I think that'd be a fun thing that we could incorporate.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely would be something interesting, especially if someone's lighting up the scoreboard with little time of possession. Would be impressive as well, but we can look into it.
Yeah, we'll talk to Spencer Conjal, our producer, who is at Syracuse right now for production. So it's pretty nice to have a collegiate producer.
Always nice to have a Newhouse guy on the high school team.
Yeah, you absolutely love it.
Guys, you were talking about Allison Cole earlier and whether she was going to Lemoyne for field hockey or lacrosse. She is going to Lemoyne for lacrosse. She committed in November. That is the wonders of Instagram. Instagram coming in handy. So Allison Cole headed to Lemoyne for lacrosse.
Thank you, Johnny, for updating our information that we obviously did not study well enough.
And wow, what a finish right there from Sophia Nesci. Somehow getting up to that pass and able to just throw it down into the back of the net. 17-6 is your score. 9 minutes left on the clock. I do believe the clock will stay running now since there is more than a 10-goal lead. But I will have to clarify with Daryl White.
Yeah, with Sophia Nesci, if I'm not mistaken, it might be the younger sister of junior guard we saw on the basketball court not too long ago, Sydney Nesci.
Yeah, Sydney Nesci, also a softball star. So if they are related, I'd assume they are. The last name is spelt the same. Either they're cousins or sisters. We don't fully know. But once again,
cousins, actually.
Cousins?
Remember hearing Sid say it is cousins.
Cousins.
They're
There you
related.
are.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Athletic family bloodline is in general. As someone seems to lose their stick, it was Tori Iannati. Ithaca's coming the other way. Poked away by Ava Semino there. Still sticking with it is the little red. So come with it. Get it back to Nicole O'Neill. She'll fire it up. Bounce pass is bobbled, but will be taken away by number 24 there, Marissa Doty.
With Neshi's goal there, she is the 7th different scorer to score for CNS in this game, compared to 3 different scorers for Ithaca. CNS definitely moving the ball around and sharing the wealth with goals in this game.
And speaking of stats, Drew Matiasic, is there anything you've seen on the stat sheet tonight that you would like to include?
Well, Rob, what I've seen a lot of is I've seen a lot of young players getting their first goals tonight. We saw Sophia Neshi just pop her first goal of the season so far, or at least to the best of my beliefs, I think that we've seen. But we also saw Kosick get not only her first, but her second goal of her high school career tonight. And we saw Gabby Putman also get 2 goals, her first 2 goals in her high school career tonight. A lot of players of the game in this 17-6 game, but I honestly think that the player of the game has to go to Fran Tortora with 5 goals and 3 assists in tonight's game.
Thanks, Drew. And it's always great to have a live statistician, someone who can see the stats that we are unable to take down and give you the insight that we can't, like that you just got right there from Drew Matiasic.
Robert, might have to look into getting. I like the setup we have. Me, you, and Johnny. Maybe even incorporate a sideline as well with this setup. A 4-man broadcast would be impressive to do.
Yeah, we definitely have the technology now to do it. Thanks to our athletic director, Mr. Bednarski, giving us a whole new setup in the booth, showing some love for all the hard work we've put in. And it's kind of great because we can really expand on what we do here.
Adding to the CNS broadcasters' bloodline, obviously, Beth Mowens, ESPN and CBS, Michael Tricarico, voice of the Syracuse Mets, and the new generation geoheater, Kyle Marshak, and the 3 of us in Drew Matiasic, adding to the CNS famous broadcasting bloodline.
You know, Johnny, speaking of famous CNS alumni, we can see a great CNS alumni, a baseball player, Patrick Corbin, making an opening day start tonight for the Washington Nationals against the New York Mets. A big night for CNS alumni, a great night for CNS athletics, too, with that great alumni, Patrick Corbin, going in for the Nationals tonight.
Yeah, CNS, it is a big school, but they do produce athletes, and you can't put anything against that.
I'm surprised we haven't mentioned Brianna Stewart, arguably one of the GOATs of women's basketball, also a CNS alumni.
I don't know if anyone noticed during March Madness, but she got her own commercial, a Coke commercial. I mean, that's pretty good.
I did see that commercial, Johnny, during the March Madness tournament. What about that madness? St. Peter's going to the Elite Eight.
And wow, Sophia Neshi getting another goal. She has found herself on the score sheet tonight.
And Maddie Asker, I will correct you, that was now her 4th goal in the season. She had 2 in the past weekend in their Victor Penfield little stint, and now she got 2 tonight for CNS.
Only a freshman on varsity, but wow, has she made herself known. Getting 4 goals early on. That's more than a goal a game, so really impressive stuff from the freshman.
Well, Rob, you say a freshman on varsity, but like we saw with basketball this year, Andrew Benedict absolutely playing out of his mind. And last year we had Angela Beardsley, Brooke Molchinoff, and Mackenzie Prentice all being freshmen, playing a huge role for CNS.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see how much youth comes through the CNS school district.
As Ionati losing the draw there, the little red coming the other way. That looks to be Baker.
Shea Baker really does it all. She attacks, she assists, she scores goals, she wins draws. Offensively, she is definitely the spark plug for Ithaca. It's just a shame, like I mentioned earlier, how little help she really has.
Get it into Blakesley.
Like you said, Rob Baker, the catalyst of this Ithaca offense. 8 goals, 2 assists on the season, and she is a senior, so they are going to miss her next year. But catalyst for this Ithaca offense. They have a big 3, but the biggest star, I would say, is Shea Baker.
Swinging inside, taken away by the North. So it looked to be Gabby Putman.
Beautiful defense on the 8 there from CNS. 4 girls closing down in on the shooter before she's even able to get a shot off.
Allie Cole gets it over to, looks to be Molly McGrath. Now Pauline sends one way downtown. It looks to be Putman. Now they get it to Tortora. Tortora coming around the side. She fires, and that finds it back to the net. Now Fran Tortora's got 6 goals tonight.
Fran Tortora just padding her stats. Like I mentioned earlier, I'd love to see a 50-50 from her this season, maybe even a 75-75. That would be my challenge for her, and she's doing just that here tonight, getting her 6th goal, 3 assists. She's contributed to 9 of the 19 goals CNS has scored, so definitely the offensive player of the game as she steps off the field for one of the first times tonight.
Tortora gave me, as you heard throughout the broadcast, gave me some great insight throughout the broadcast. But like she said, this team is she's making sure this team stays hungry. You can tell that she is making herself better by being the captain of this team and pushing herself and her team to be the best that they can.
Doty fighting for the draw for it, and she will come away with it for CNS. Now she gets over to Brooke Molchinoff. Out to maybe Sophia Neshi, it looks like. Now to those might be Cicerelli in.
That would be Courtney Jakowski. I do think Gabby Cicerelli will not be touching the field tonight, sadly. But with the weather conditions, it's probably the best choice for her health and her future going into the rest of her senior season.
We see Tortora and Kozik both take a seat now, which I'm assuming they will take a seat for the last under 2 minutes we have in this game. And there's no reason to have them on the field for the rest of this game.
Yeah, 3 very key players for CNS on the bench now with Fran Tortora, even their goalie, Nicole Mira, Victoria Iannotti, Riley Kosick, all taking a seat, which we'd assume is the rest of the game. But what I love to see is Fran Tortora out over there coaching her team, really being that energetic plug they need, helping these girls that might not see many minutes get their way through as Brooke Molchinoff able to put another one away.
As now Ithaca back-to-back games 20-piece someone. They're getting 20-piece right now by CNS.
Yeah, and that's just the dangers you have when you come into this Section 3. These teams are, the best way to describe it is iron sharpens iron, and these teams have sharpened each other a lot. They are cutthroat. Every game you see in a Section 3 lacrosse match is always very tight, very competitive. So with these traveling sections like Ithaca coming from Section 4, they're running into a brick wall.
Yeah, and games like this is really good for Coach Prentice and her team because when you grab those non-league, non-section games, it really helps you build up for what you're going to see later on when it comes towards May, even maybe June, when it comes for sectionals or even states. It gets you ready for that competition. Rob Seitchen, we saw him do with girls basketball too, playing against teams like Shenendehowa, Saratoga Springs, and Elmira from that same league, the STAC that Ithaca plays in.
And that's arguably the biggest reason why we saw that CNS girls basketball team go on such a run. They had so much experience outside of the section that when it came to going on that state's run, they had played teams that they weren't familiar to, and they thrived in that environment.
Yeah, CNS, what a run we saw from that team. A team that probably could have won the section or even probably would have won the section the year before, and state's probably that same year. Unfortunate to go is that clock zeroes out for this game. Here at Michael J. Bragman Stadium, your Lady North Stars close out the home victory, securing that home field, 1-0 at home on the season, 20-6 versus the visiting Section 4 Ithaca Little Red, with Tortora adding in 6 goals and Molchinoff diming in 4 as well.
Yeah, and just an absolutely dominant performance. Mackenzie Prentice also getting 3 goals and 2 assists. Neshi scoring 2 goals. Klein getting herself a goal. Riley Kosick getting her first 2 goals and her first assist of her varsity career. So just an overall dominant performance from CNS. And massive shout out to Shea Baker from Ithaca, putting in 4 goals for them. And overall just showing out and playing her best even though the cards were stacked against her tonight.
Yeah, we would like to thank head coach Caitlin Hoffley and all of Ithaca High School girls lacrosse team coming out from Section 4 to Syracuse, New York on a rainy Thursday evening to play with some girls lacrosse and giving us an interesting game to watch. Drew Mediasker, John Lisi, you guys have anything to add to this broadcast before we close it out?
Great game. Dominant performance by Francesca Tortora. Would you expect anything less, though? Tortora is definitely, like you said at the end, the spiritual leader of this team. She definitely did good. But the North Stars shared the wealth compared to Ithaca. Great job by Shea Baker. But for the North Stars, 7 different scores.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some great stats tonight. Some stats I don't think we're going to be seeing anytime soon is Fran Tortora's 9-point game, 6 goals, 3 assists. And then we have Brooke Molchinoff with just 4 straight goals. And that's incredible because before this game, her she had 4 goals in the past 2 games, and she got 4 goals tonight. So she's now up to 8 goals total on the season. Fran Tortora is now up to 11 goals on the season. This is just an incredible stat line for CNS as they put up 20 goals tonight against Little Red.
And that'll be all from the North Star Network tonight. Thank you, Drew Mattiasik and Johnny Lisi. One of you doing stats and adding some input, and Johnny doing a great job as that second analyst. Aaron Torquinio on camera. Jared White, PA announcer. Chris Pilata running the scoreboard. Tim Benarski, athletic director. Joe Howell, the equipment manager. My color commentator, my right, Robert Bateman. My name is Owen O'Keefe. Have a great night, everyone.